He came home to bury his father. He didn't expect to fall in love that same week. My name is Jake Whitfield. I'm 33. 3 weeks ago, I lived in Chicago. 40 floors up. A good job. A quiet life. Then my sister called at 6 in the morning. Dad had a heart attack, she said. He's gone. By the time I got to Cedar Falls, Ohio, it was already too late. The funeral was small. Exactly like he would have wanted. Half the town showed up anyway, men who'd bought their first hammer from him 30 years ago. Women who remembered him fixing their porch steps for free. I stood at the front, numb, shaking hands I didn't recognize. My mother held my arm the entire service, like she was the one steadying me, not the other way around. Afterward, I sat alone in my childhood bedroom. Boxes of my old things untouched for 15 years. I didn't sleep. Not really. I just stared at the ceiling, listening to a house that felt too quiet. Cedar Falls is small. One traffic light, one diner, one old hardware store. My father's hardware store. I left this town at 18. I swore I'd never come back, except for holidays. I came back for a funeral instead, and then I stayed because someone had to save the store, because my mother needed help, because I didn't have it in me to leave her alone. I hadn't thought about Sadie Marlowe in years, not really. Just late-night memories sometimes. Use, sitting on my old truck at the reservoir, arguing about movies, laughing about nothing. She used to say small towns swallow people whole. I used to say that's not a bad thing, not if you love the people in it. We never agreed. We never really tried to. We lost touch the way people do. One person leaves. One person stays. So when I walked into the diner 4 days after the funeral and saw her behind the counter, I froze in the doorway like an idiot. She looked up. Neither of us said a word for a second. Jake Whitfield, she said finally. I heard you were back. Word travels fast. This is Cedar Falls, she said. Word travels at the speed of light. She came around the counter. For a second, I thought she might hug me. She stopped a foot away instead. I'm sorry about your dad, she said quietly. He used to give me free WD-40. Never let me pay for it. Not once. Something in my chest cracked open. Yeah, I said, voice breaking. That sounds like him. She didn't try to fix the silence. She just pulled out a stool. Sit, she said. I'll get you coffee. You don't have to talk. So I sat, and for 20 minutes, in the middle of the lunch rush, she let me not talk. That was exactly what I needed. I found out Sadie never left Cedar Falls. She went to community college nearby. Then she came back and bought the diner. She'd been engaged once. A guy named Ryan. It ended 2 years ago. She didn't talk about it much. I started coming in every morning. I told myself it was the coffee. That was a lie. You're here again, she said on day 5. Best coffee in town. It's the only coffee in town. Then it's definitely the best. She rolled her eyes. But she was smiling. The hardware store was a mess. My dad had been struggling for years, quietly, proudly, never asking for help. I told my firm I needed 6 weeks off. I started digging through invoices instead of blueprints. Sadie showed up one Saturday, thermos in hand, legal pad under her arm. I've kept the diner's books for 4 years, she said. Let me help. I should have said no, I didn't. We spent every Saturday after that, hunched over old paperwork, arguing about spreadsheets, eating gas station sandwiches. Then, 4 Saturdays in, we found the letter, buried in a drawer full of unopened mail, a notice from the bank. The store was 3 months behind on its loan. Jake, Sadie's voice went quiet. This is serious. How serious? They can call the loan, force a sale. Serious like that. My stomach dropped. He never said anything, I whispered. Not one word. Pride's a heavy thing to carry alone, Sadie said gently. I sat back, staring at the letter like it might change if I looked long enough. I don't know the first thing about saving a hardware store, I admitted. I do, Sadie said. I've kept a small business alive for 4 years on stubbornness and spreadsheets. Let me help you actually save it, not just organize the wreckage. For the next 2 weeks, we barely slept. New supplier deals. A payment plan with the bank, a flyer campaign Sadie designed herself, taped up in every shop window on Main Street. The town showed up. People who'd bought nails from my dad for 30 years. People who just wanted to help a family they'd known forever. We made the payment with 2 days to spare. I stood behind the counter that night, alone, after Sadie went home. I could almost feel my dad standing there beside me, not disappointed. Proud, maybe, for the first time in a long time. By the third Saturday, I stopped pretending. I looked forward to seeing her, for one obvious reason. "You're staring," she said, not looking up. "I'm supervising." "You're staring, Whitfield." I didn't deny it a second time. One night, my mom caught me smiling at my phone. "Sadie again?" she asked. "It's just about the books. Jake, you're smiling at a spreadsheet." I set the phone down, caught. "She's easy to be around," I admitted. I forgot what that felt like. My mom studied me for a long moment. "Your father liked her too, you know," she said quietly. Said she had backbone. Said the town didn't deserve how hard she worked after everything with Ryan. What happened with Ryan? She never really says. That's her story to tell, Jake, not mine. But she said it in a way that told me it mattered a lot. The whole town found out about us almost instantly. That's how Cedar Falls works. My mom brought it up at dinner. "Sadie's been by a lot," she said, not looking up from her plate. "She's helping with the books." Mom. I didn't say anything. She absolutely had said something. 3 weeks after the funeral, the whole town gathered. Founders Day picnic. String lights. A dunk tank. Sadie ran the pie booth. I ended up leaning against her table most of the afternoon, pretending to help. That's when Ryan showed up, her ex. A few beers deep. Loud. "Well, look who's back," he said. Loud enough for everyone to hear. "Chicago boy comes home." Suddenly, Sadie's got time for small talk again. Sadie's jaw tightened. She didn't say anything. That told me everything I needed to know. "You got something to say, Ryan?" I said. "Say it to me." He grinned. The kind of grin that thinks it's charming. "Just saying it's convenient," he said. Fancy job falls through. Comes crawling back. Picks up right where he left off. The tables nearby went quiet. "My dad died," I said evenly. "That's why I'm back. If you think there's anything convenient about burying your father, try it sometime." His grin faltered. "As for Sadie," I continued, "she's not a consolation prize. She's the reason the last 3 weeks were survivable at all." Silence. Heavy silence. Ryan muttered something and walked off, quieter than he'd arrived. Sadie hadn't moved. When I turned to her, her eyes were bright. "You didn't have to do that," she said quietly. "I didn't do it because I had to." She looked down, then back up at me. "Everybody in this town's known me since I was 6, she said. "Half of them still see the girl whose engagement fell apart. You're the first person who came back and just saw me. Not the story. Me, I never stopped seeing you," I admitted. "I just stayed away too long." She laughed, wiping her eyes. "Can I ask you something?" I said. "About Ryan." She stiffened slightly. "You don't have to." "No," she said. "You should probably know. He didn't cheat. Nothing that simple," she said. "He just slowly stopped showing up. For things that mattered. Small things at first, then bigger ones. By the end, I was planning a wedding with someone who'd already left. He just hadn't packed yet. I'm sorry. Don't be." It taught me the difference between someone being present and someone just being nearby. She looked at me carefully. "That's why today mattered so much," she said. "You didn't just stand nearby, you actually showed up. I plan on making a habit of it. Come find me after the picnic," she said. "I'll be at the reservoir." I found her exactly where she said, sitting on the tailgate of an old truck watching the sun drop behind the trees. "Still overrated," she said. No context needed. "Shawshank isn't overrated. You're just contrarian. I'm consistent." We sat there for a while, not talking. Then she asked the real question. "You're leaving in 3 weeks. Once the store's sorted, you're going back to Chicago, aren't you?" I didn't answer right away. "I don't know anymore," I said finally. "I didn't expect any of this. I didn't expect you." She went quiet. "That's a big thing to say," she said. "To someone you've known 3 weeks. I know. I'm not asking you to believe it yet. I'm just telling you it's true." She reached over, laced her fingers through mine. "Then don't decide about Chicago tonight," she said. "Decide about tonight. I turned toward her. I kissed her, not because the moment demanded it, because I'd wanted to for 3 weeks. "For the record," she said after, "I've been rooting for you to do that since day 4. I thought it was day 5, day 4. You just didn't notice me noticing." The next few weeks felt like borrowed time. Good, easy, almost too easy. Then the whispers started. Small towns love a story, especially a romantic one, especially one with an ending nobody's sure of yet. Give it a month, I overheard someone say at the hardware store. City boys don't stay. Sadie heard it too. More than once. She didn't mention it. Not at first. I found her one evening, sitting alone on the diner's back steps. Hey, I said. You okay? Just tired, she sighed, staring at her hands. Everyone keeps asking when you're leaving, she said. Like it's not a question of if. Just when. I haven't decided anything, I know. But you will, eventually. And everyone in this town has already decided for you. I'm not everyone. No, she said. But I've been the girl everyone felt sorry for before. I don't know if I can survive being her twice. That hit harder than I expected. I'm not Ryan, I said quietly. I know that, up here. She tapped her temple. I'm just trying to convince the rest of me. I sat down beside her on the steps. Then let me earn it, I said. Not with words, with time. However long it takes. She looked at me, eyes shining. Okay, she said softly. Okay. The 6 weeks I planned turned into 10, then into I'm not sure I'm going back. My firm offered remote work. Turns out engineering doesn't need an office. Just a laptop. We didn't rush it. Sadie made sure of that by fall. I was spending more nights above the diner than at my mom's house, falling asleep to the sound of the old exhaust fan. The store didn't get sold. We fixed the books, brought in new stock. My mom runs the floor now. I handle the parts my dad used to drown in. Some nights, I still feel him there. It doesn't hurt the way it did in June. It feels like company. It wasn't all easy, though. Around Thanksgiving, my old firm called again. A big offer. Lead position. Full relocation, my old office. 40 floors up. I didn't tell Sadie right away. I told myself I was still deciding. Really? I think I was scared of the answer either way. She found out anyway. Cedar Falls doesn't keep secrets. Not even mine. I found her at the diner after closing, wiping down a counter that didn't need wiping. You were going to tell me eventually, right? I was trying to figure out what I wanted first. That's the thing, Jake, she said. It's not just your problem if you take it. It's mine too. She looked at me, more scared than angry. I told myself I wasn't doing this again, she said. Building something and watching someone decide 6 months in that this town wasn't enough. This isn't that, isn't it? Ryan didn't leave town, but he left anyway, in every way that mattered. I don't know how to tell the difference anymore, she said, between someone staying and someone just not gone yet. That landed hard, because it was fair. Do you know what scares me most? She continued. It's not that you'd leave, it's that you'd stay out of guilt and resent me for it in 5 years. That's not what this is. How do you know? You haven't even told me what this is yet. Because I've spent every night since Thanksgiving lying awake, I said, trying to picture my life in that office, and every single time, all I see is what I'd be missing here. That's a nice sentence, Jake. But sentences aren't decisions. I turned it down 3 days ago, I said quietly. She stopped. What? I turned it down, before my sister even said anything. I showed her the email. Sent that morning. She stared at the screen for a long moment, then pressed both hands flat on the counter. You should have told me you were considering it, she said, quieter now. Not so I could talk you out of it. So I'd know you trusted me, with the hard version, not just the decided one. You're right, I said. I'm sorry. I think some part of me was still the guy who left at 18, I said. Used to deciding alone, telling people after. That's not who I want to be with you. She came around the counter slowly. I'm not asking you to give up big things for me, she said. I need you to know that. Sadie, I didn't turn it down for you. I turned it down because when I imagined that office, I didn't feel excitement. I felt like I was missing this. Missing you. Chicago used to be the whole plan, I said. Now it's just a city I used to live in. She exhaled like she'd been holding her breath for months. Okay, she said. Okay, but next time something big comes up, you tell me while you're still deciding, not after. Deal. I mean it, Jake. I know. Deal. We started doing normal things after that, actual dates. Not just paperwork and gas station sandwiches. She took me to the county fair, insisted I try the deep-fried everything. I took her to the reservoir at sunrise. just to prove the sky wasn't only good at sunset. Still overrated, she said, staring at the water. Every single view in this town. You're impossible. I'm consistent. We fell into a rhythm neither of us mentioned out loud. Sunday dinners at my mom's, where Sadie somehow charmed her into sharing the secret meatloaf recipe. Wednesday nights at the diner after close, slow dancing badly to the radio while she mopped the floor. Small things. Ordinary things. The kind of things that build a whole life, one evening at a time. She kissed me right there, against the counter. The messy, honest version, not the easy one. That was the part that actually meant something. Ryan came by the store, a week later. I almost didn't recognize him without the crowd behind him. I owe you an apology, he said, hands in his pockets. You too, eventually. But you first, I'm listening. I thought I was being funny at the picnic. I wasn't. No, I agreed. You weren't. She deserved better than that. Back then and that day too. She got better, I said. Eventually. He nodded slowly, something like understanding crossing his face. Tell her I said that, he said. The sorry part, I mean. Tell her yourself. He did. The following week, I watched from across the diner as she listened, nodded once. Accepted it, the way she accepted most hard things, not erased. Just accepted. That was one of the things I loved about her most. She never pretended pain was smaller than it was, but she never let it become the whole room. Either spring came, then summer. The whispers in town changed slowly. Give it a month turned into good for them. Small towns love an ending too, especially a happy one. My mom stopped hiding her smiles at dinner. Sadie stopped flinching when people asked about the future. We built something steady, not perfect. Steady, a year and a half later. I proposed at the same reservoir, same tailgate. I'd been carrying the ring for 3 nervous weeks, waiting for the right moment. Then I realized the right moment had been sitting on that tailgate the whole time. I just had to stop overthinking it. You've been weird all week, Sadie said, swinging her legs off the edge. Have I? Jake, you reorganized the entire nail aisle by color. Twice. That's normal store maintenance. It's really not. I laughed, nerves finally breaking loose. Okay, I said. You got me. I reached into my jacket pocket. Her breath caught the second she saw the box. Sadie Marlowe, I said, I came back to this town to bury my father. I never expected to find the rest of my life waiting behind a diner counter. You steadied me when I didn't know I needed steadying. You made this place feel like mine again. Marry me. Not because it's convenient, because it's you. She said yes before I even finished the sentence, then made me finish it anyway. I wanted it on record, she said, laughing through tears. We got married the following June, at the reservoir, obviously. Half the town showed up, whether we invited them or not. My mom cried through the entire ceremony. Sadie's regulars closed the diner for the afternoon, just to be there. Even old Mr. Petrakis flew back from Florida, muttering the whole time about missing his Sunday call. Someone strung the same string lights from Founder's Day along the water's edge. The same cover band played, slightly better rehearsed this time. I stood at the tailgate, waiting, the way I had a year before. Except this time, she walked toward me instead of leaving after. My father's old wrench sat in my jacket pocket during the entire ceremony. Sadie's idea. She said every good foundation needs its original tools. When I slid the ring onto her hand, I swore I felt him there. Not sad this time, just glad. The way you're glad when something finally gets built right. When people in town ask how we met, Sadie tells them her ex-fiancé accidentally did her one favor. Embarrassing himself at a pie table. I tell them the truth is simpler than that. I came home to bury my father, and I found the life I didn't know I was missing, behind a diner counter. Tatting a pen against her teeth, exactly where she'd always been. If you've ever gone home and found something you didn't expect waiting for you there, tell me in the comments if this one got you. Hit subscribe, there's more where Cedar Falls came from.